Alright, I'm making this video to show you how to conduct the Gatorade Lab. So, next to the scale you will find a sample of Gatorade powder, and what you need to do for your group is you need to obtain about 3 grams of that powder. So I have a beaker cleaner than this. Scale, zero the scale. Okay, 3 grams. Now remember, if you don't get exactly 3 grams, it's not really that important. The important thing is that you have the exact amount. So there we go. So I have 3.10 grams, so I'll write down that I have 3.10 grams. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to dissolve that Gatorade powder into about 8 milliliters of water. So you get a small graduated cylinder, you fill it up to about 8 milliliters, and again, right now the volume of what you have isn't important. What's important later is how much you have total after the two things are mixed together. Now the thing is this is really concentrated compared to how the powder is supposed to be mixed up, and that's kind of the point, because we want to have we want to go from really concentrated to much less concentrated than the powder, so that we can construct a graph of concentration versus the amount of light that's absorbed. And so we're going to start off, this is going to be what's called our stock solution, and we're going to be cutting that down in half a bunch of times so that we can get a series of different solutions. So one thing is, this is going to take a while to mix up. You can mix it up either by swirling the beaker like this. Just do it for a couple minutes. You want to make sure all the powder is dissolved. Another good way to mix things is if you put it into a test tube, and then you can just pour it back and forth a bunch of times. You want to make sure you didn't leave any powder or anything behind though in this. So pour it back and forth until you have it all dissolved, okay, where you can't see any powder in it at all. Once you're done with that, then you're going to pour it back into your graduated cylinder so that you can measure exactly what volume you have. So it's really important to write down exactly what volume of Gatorade you had, and also what mass of Gatorade powder you had. So now this is your stock solution. What you're going to do with the stock solution is you're going to cut it into half so that you have one solution that's half again as concentrated as that. So what you do, and you're going to measure that out, I'm just going to pretend. So I'm going to say I'm going to put 3 milliliters of Gatorade into this test tube. So pretend like that's 3 milliliters. You're going to actually measure it. And then I'm going to pour 3 milliliters of water in. Again, you better measure it. I'm just pretending like I did. And then you want to mix it up. So swirl it or pour it back and forth into a clean test tube to make sure it's well mixed. And so now this is solution A. Then you're going to take half of solution A, you're going to put it into a new test tube, add 3 more milliliters of water, and that will be solution B, and its concentration is half as much, and so on until you have 3 solutions. Once you have all those solutions, you're going to put them into cuvettes. Cuvettes are these little square test tube things, and they are used for determining light absorptions of samples, so they have good optical quality plastic. You want to make sure they're really clean before you use them. So even though these were cleaned after they were used last time, you want to clean them again, so that you make sure that anything that was left in there isn't affecting your results. When you're all done, you should have a series of cuvettes. This one is my stock solution, and notice it's the darkest one. This one I cut in half, and then B I cut in half again, C I cut in half again, D I cut in half again, E I cut in half again. And so you notice there's not much color difference between D and E. And finally the water. Okay, that might be distracting with the lines going in there. Okay, so then finally the water one is just, this is just plain water here. And then this last one now, you are going to get a sample of Gatorade that was mixed according to the powder's directions, and that will be your last one. So these are all the ones that you have to have in pictures. So stock, A, B, C, D, E, water, and then the unknown powder where you don't know the concentration. You can see these have been sitting for a while, so there's mold in there, so I'm going to clean these out as soon as I'm done. It was left over from when chemistry did it, so that's kind of gross, but I'll get those cleaned. Okay, and again, the powder, the unknown concentrated one, will be left out in a beaker that's got aluminum foil on it. That aluminum foil is there just to make sure that no water evaporates out or anything gets in there while it's sitting waiting for you, so please keep it covered. If you don't finish your lab in one day, make sure you cover up all your test tubes of all your different samples. Okay, so once you have all your samples made in the cuvette, and all of your cuvettes, you're going to line them up in front of this light box. You're going to turn on the light box and then take a picture. And then I'll be explaining to you what you're going to be doing with that picture in the next segment of this video.